Good morning, everybody. What's going on? My name is Steve Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Media Company. And today's topic, you can already see the title of the video. We're going to be talking about the 2022 NFL Draft. But in particular, I want to talk about two guys and who really is the best corner in this draft class. On one hand, we got Darius Stingley Jr. On the other hand, we have Ahmad Sauce Gardner. Ahmad Gardner, I got to be honest with you guys, I came away really impressed when you look at the totality of his resume. From the time that he took the field back in 2019 and what he's produced each individual season. And it's going to be a really interesting conversation. I got 10 guys broken down from this draft class that we're going to talk about today, but the main theme here is we're going to talk Stingley, we're going to talk about Ahmad Sauce Gardner, we're going to talk about might there be a shakeup by the time the draft comes around in terms of who's that number one guy. But before we do that, guys, I want to get into today's sponsor, Ultra Game. Thank you so much. Watch a little clip, guys, and let's get into the conversation. Oh, snap. This is nice, man. Let's see how it fits, y'all. I got to be honest. Hey, man. I really like this hoodie. I'm not going to lie. Thank you so much, Ultra Game. If you guys would like to actually pick up this hoodie, I'm going to link Ultra Game's entire Amazon account down below. That way you can go on, look at their entire, offerings that they have there. They got everything from the Eagles to the Sixers. This is a great company. They give really, really affordable prices on merchandise like this, guys, and they do a great job designing this stuff. So I can't recommend them enough. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all doing that. By the way, if you want to enter into the drawing, they are giving away a free Sixers t-shirt to our audience here. You have to go to the Brandon Brooks breakdown that I did where I talked about his retirement. I've linked that video down below. Watch the video. Make sure you're subbed up to Gate City Sports Media Company. Make sure you're subbed up to Ultra Game. Leave a like on the video and then comment below. It'll put you into the generator. You got an opportunity to actually win that shirt. So make sure y'all take advantage of that, okay? All right, y'all. So today's topic. First off, has everybody got their cup of coffee ready, man? Because this is going to get deep. We're going to definitely talk today. I got my Gate City cup ready to go. All right, I'm going to say something right from the jump that I think might be a little controversial. But I'm going to add nuance to it, guys. So just stick with me. All right. I think Ahmad Sauce Gardner is the best cornerback in this draft class. I'm just going to be honest. And it's not like I think that like Darius Stingley Jr. is bad. I think it's a 1A, 1B situation to where both of these dudes are good. But what I will say is even in Stingley's best season, his freshman year in 2019, where he was just, lights out. He was a really good football player on that team with Joe Burrow and those guys. Obviously, he was on the defensive side of things. Even in his best year, where he had crazy, crazy production, we're talking 17 forced incompletions, guys, 15 pass breakups, 6 interceptions. There's a little Trayvon Diggs to his game, man. He also got beat for 5 touchdowns. At the end of the day, though, I will say that his passer rating, what quarterback's passer rating was against him, was still only a 52.8. So, he did a really good job, even considering the touchdowns he gave up, which were quite a bit. But I think the problem I have with Stingley is that starting in 2020 with an already disrupted season, we get into the issues with his leg. He starts having problems with his leg. And then you go into 2020, 2021, it's really killed his production. I don't really know what to make of Stingley. Highly talented on the film. The guy has definitely got the ideal makeup you want from a cornerback. And trust me, if this guy somehow ended up on the Eagles, I'd be celebrating. This is not a shot at Stingley. Dude's a good football player. But in saying that, guys, let's break down the numbers, man. 2020, I'm gonna avoid the coverage grade, but I'll tell you, right? His coverage grade was a 91.7 in 2019, his freshman season, the highest one. That's a PFF ranking, guys. In 2020, it was a 71.7, and then in 2021, it was a 66.3. Okay, I don't care about coverage grade. I look at passer rating. I think is a better equivalent stat there. All right. Here's what I'm going to say. 589 coverage snaps his freshman year. Since then, he's played 213 in 2020, 76 in basically 2021. He's basically played about 300. We'll round it up. We'll call it 300 snaps over 2 seasons. That's problematic, guys. That's problematic when we're talking about a dude that could potentially be top 10, let alone maybe top 5, 6 guys picked. I don't know if I'd take that risk if I was a football team, to be quite honest. I think there's a lot here about Darius Stingley that you got to be cautious with. Now, I think the big thing that you can argue and people, detractors from my point, could push back about Ahmad Sauce Gardner and say he's not better than Stingley. is the fact that Ahmad Sauce Gardner did not play in the SEC. And, it's harder to keep track with you being a freshman and giving up 5 touchdowns when you're playing SEC level wide receivers. And I do think that's fair, guys. I absolutely think that's a very, very fair counterpoint to what I'm saying. Because if you look at those 300 snaps he played since his freshman year, he's only given up 2 touchdowns, 1 per season in those 300 snaps or so. But what I will say is a lot of things kind of tailored off, though, man. Like in 2021, he only played 76 snaps, so there was no forced incompletions, there was no pass breakups, there was definitely no interceptions, nothing like that. In 2020, where he played 213 snaps, he did have 5 forced incompletions, 5 breakups. I mean, he's got the size, he's got the length. I mean, if you total it together with Derek Stingley, like I said, guys, to me, it's a 1A, 1B. You're getting a guy that on average is holding dudes to around a 40% completion rate. When you take all of it kind of together and you total it, it's under 50% basically, right? And he's had 22 forced interceptions, which speaks to the size and the length and the aggressiveness that he plays. But I got to tell you, man, let me get into Ahmad Sauce Gardner and just tell you what I like about this guy so much. Number one thing I like about Ahmad Sauce Gardner is this. Ain't nobody scored a touchdown on Ahmad. Not one person has put a touchdown up on Ahmad Sauce Gardner going back to his freshman season. And Ahmad Sauce Gardner has played some snaps, guys. All the way back to his freshman year, 320 coverage snaps. His sophomore year, 322 coverage snaps. And his junior year, this past year, 482 coverage snaps. There's a lot here. There's a ton here with him. A lot of film. It's not SEC competition, and that's fair, guys. I get it. I absolutely understand that. If we look at coverage grade, 2019, 90.2. 2020, he had 77.7. And then in 2021, 87.2. But like I said, I think the better qualifier here is to look at your passer rating. What was the passer rating you gave up to quarterbacks? Let's go back to his freshman year, 39.4. Sophomore year, 29.3. Junior year, 26.1. The dude got better every year and never gave up more than 40. Never. No one got 40 on him. This dude is so undervalued in this freaking draft class by analysts. I don't think teams are fooled. Teams got scouts. They look at this kind of stuff. They know the deal, man. Let's go and look at his, he's a big dude. He's not a small corner by any stretch of the imagination. So 14 forced incompletions, 8 pass breakups, 3 interceptions his freshman year. 7 forced incompletions, 6 pass breakups, 3 interceptions his sophomore year. His junior year, 3 forced incompletions, 3 breakups, pass breakups, 3 interceptions. This dude gets the football. That's the number one thing I noticed. You're talking about 9 interceptions over 3 years. He goes and gets the football. He's got that same kind of quality of being the tall, lanky kind of corner to kind of get in there for, essentially never giving up a 40 passer rating, but also being double digits overall in terms of, how many incompletions he's forcing. I mean, just doing the math in my head real quick, guys. That's 21, goes to 24 forced incompletions, guys. Pass breakups, we got 14, goes to 17 pass breakups. He uses the size, 9 interceptions. Doesn't give up passer ratings to dudes. I'm sorry, man. I got to say it. Ahmad Sauce Gardner is the best cornerback in this draft class. It's the best cornerback in this draft class. This dude can play. He's highly underrated by the media, national media. I don't think teams are stupid like that, guys. I don't think scouts are stupid like that. I think they realize how good Ahmad Sauce Gardner is. But I will say, not shots at Derek Stingley. That dude's good. I've watched this film. I saw how athletic he is. That dude's going to get picked high. Although he's got the injury concern, somebody's going to take a chance on him. He may still be the first cornerback that comes off the board because, teams get a little weird about how each team's got a different board as how they rank these guys. Scheme, fit matters. They might say okay, this dude definitely had college production, but maybe he got handsy. There's things on the film where you can maybe bring up question marks. Things like that can definitely matter. No doubt about it, guys. But I do think that it's very obvious that Darius Stingley Jr. and Ahmad Sauce Gardner are quite clearly the number 1 and number 2 cornerbacks in this draft class. And then after that, you got to dip into who's there. And there's 3 players I would put that are kind of lumped together in 3, 4, and 5. Now, from my evaluation, I got 5 guys I would probably put a first-round grade on at the cornerback position. But I will say there's always the potential of 6 guys slips into the first round or or moves up into the first round, I should say, or that one of those 5 guys doesn't make it to the first round, falls, and you only get 4 guys. It's always a possibility, but I would put a first round grade on 5 of these guys. Those 5 guys would be Derek Stingley Jr., Ahmad Sauce Gardner, Roger McCreary, Kyrie Elam, and Andrew Booth Jr. Those will be the 5 guys that I would put a first round grade on. I'll tell you the guy that could potentially rise up the board is Trent Mcduffie. Trent Mcduffie probably has an outside shot of climbing the boards and getting up there, but I have him right now graded kind of more of a second round grade. I have him in Martin Emerson from Mississippi State. I got those 2 guys kind of together in that second round grade. But that's how I'm looking at this draft class currently, guys. All right, let's read some questions. Let's read some comments, and then I'll get into those other 3 guys. And we'll talk about like what else is there in terms of this draft class and how to view it and how I lump these 3 guys, right? Because we're talking about McCreary, Elam, and Booth Jr. and who's 3, who's 4, who's 5, according to me. We'll get into all that, guys. All right. What's up, Cody? How you doing, buddy? I appreciate you tuning in today, man. Blaze, what's good, man? How are you, sir? I'm doing well. I'm doing well, guys. Thank God it's Friday. I hear you, Takeem. Good morning, man. How are you this morning? 2020 made it early. What's up, 2020? What's up, Cree? How you doing, man? Fly Eagles fly. What's up, guys? Chaos the Filthy. What's good, buddy? How you doing today, man? Eagles Atlantic. Good morning, man. Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Everybody got their coffee, their tea, or whatever it is you drink in the morning, guys? Takeem said, I agree. Ahmad Sauce Gardner is better than Patrick Surtain, in my opinion. Wouldn't be surprised if Gardner goes top 5 in the draft. That's my fear, is that I know a lot of Eagle fans want him. We might have to drastically climb boards to go get Ahmad Sauce Gardner. I'm looking at the film. I'm looking at the underlying analytics. That dude's not getting out of the top 10 picks, in my opinion. He's going in the top 10. Takeem said, I can see the Jets taking Gardner at 4 over Stingley. I think it's possible. And like I said, it does depend on the team. Like every team's a little different there, but I also don't think that the league is like blind to this. I think the scouts in the league kind of know that Ahmad Sauce Gardner is a real prospect. Cree said, I agree with you regarding Gardner being the best cornerback in the 2022 draft. What I want to hear more is when they announce starting at cornerback, Ahmad Sauce Gardner. We'd have to definitely climb the draft board to go get Ahmad. I'm telling you guys, I highly doubt he makes it to the 15th pick. It seems very unlikely to me. Cree said, think of the market implications for Sauce Gardner. That's true, man, right? What you could do from a marketing standpoint with that. 2020 said, it's Stingley for me. Ball hawk, explosive tackler to create fumbles, and just has that knack to turn at the right moment and deflect the pass. He just mirrors the wide receiver better and has strength. I don't agree with that. I don't think he mirrors the wide receivers better. Actually, from the film, I would say that Ahmad Gardner is better at mirroring receivers. I'd also point out Derek Stingley hasn't got an interception since his freshman year, 2020, to be fair. He hasn't, from what I can remember, let me take a look and just let me verify what I'm saying. But from what I remember, he hasn't got he has no interception since his freshman year. All 6 of those interceptions came his freshman year, and since then he's been goose-egged. So I don't know about that, man. I do think that there's a reason to pause and realize that Stingley's a heck of a player. I'd be really happy with that dude on the Eagles. There's also a reason why he might fall further in this draft than what people were suspecting. Eagles clip says, Sauce Gardner gives me that prime time Deion Sanders vibe. 100%, man, 100%. NFC East B said Gardner right now until Stingley's injury report comes in. Good morning, Gates Gorillas. What's good, guys? Takeem said, didn't Gardner shut Jameson Williams down in the playoff game against Alabama? He had a really good outing there. I don't know if I'd say he shut him down, but I'd have to look at every single rep and just kind of see that one. But he had a really good outing in that game. He was pretty good. Said I got to watch that Cincinnati versus Alabama tape. Yeah, it's really hard to get. I would just go watch just the game film, guys. It's really difficult to get the coaches' film on college guys. You got to write for permission. And when you're dealing with bowl games, there's sometimes several entities you have to go through to actually get the film. It is possible, though. You can do it. Takeem said Andrew Booth Jr. is the 3rd best corner, in my opinion. I got some concerns about Andrew Booth Jr., Takeem, I'm going to get into, but he is a very good football player. If Sauce runs a good 40, he will be a number 1. Ernest, what I'll say is that I expect Stingley, if his foot is healthy, he can run. He's going to put up good combine numbers. Stingley is very athletic. I don't know how to rate Sauce. Sauce is just physical, man. He just beats dudes up on the outside. Stingley gives me, 2020 said, Stingley gives me Marshawn Lattimore vibes. Smooth, great balance and strength. Gardner, I think, will get penalized more in the NFL. Clumsy, handsy. I don't know, 2020. The vibes I get from Stingley, they remind me of an Alabama cornerback, and it's not Patrick Surtain. He reminds me of Diggs a lot. He's very risky. He gambles a lot. He's going to make some plays. I think he's going to get some picks. He's going to be one of those guys that has an impact on the game. But I think he can impact the game both positively and negatively, and he will get beat a few times, especially at this next level of competition, because he's definitely a gambler on plays. I will say that Stingley, at least in the last 2 years, and these very minimum stats that we have to grade, he got better as a tackler. He started becoming more physical. He let some of those physical traits take over inside the box, which is, you're going to deal with injury concerns. You're going to deal with the lack of production over 2 years. The other thing about Stingley that I got to be honest with you, man, he gave up 130.8 passer rating this past year. It was on very minimum amount of snaps, though. But that's not good, man. It was like 2 games, and quarterbacks were straight up passing all over. That concerns me a little bit. Now, I will say I think the foot played a role in it. I think he was still clearly recovering from the foot. What's up, Show Enough? How you doing, man? Eagles Clip said, should we draft Malik Willis as a backup option if Hurts hasn't improved? Then we can use all 3 of our first-round picks this year. I think we could get him in the second round. Eagle Clips, I don't think you're going to get Malik Willis in the second round, man. I think he's going to be a first-round pick, to be quite honest. And he's definitely not making it to 51. NFC East B say Elam looks to have the size and length for a cover 2 defense, maybe the best fit. We're going to get into these next 3 guys. We're getting there. We're getting there, man. Look how high the 2 top quarterbacks went last. Exactly, NFC East Beast. Top 10, right? Like, that was crazy. I didn't expect that. I thought one of them would go. I didn't think both would. What's up, BWS Dreams? How you doing, buddy? He said, what's good, Gates? Any chance you show us the film you're reviewing of these corners? Yes, when I get to the actual corners. So when I do the actual breakdown on the corners, yes. For a live stream, it's kind of hard to run film like this on my own. I've seen mock drafts where the Eagles pick Trent McDuffie. Nah, maybe. I mean, Trent McDuffie to me is very similar. The issue with McDuffie is like, tell me the big difference between him and McPherson. Kind of similar corners. Stingley has the high ceiling by far, in my opinion. Ball skills are amazing, but I think Gardner and Stingley are close. I don't know about that, Brokey. I don't know about that, man. I think people are discounting Sauce's actual ceiling. I think you can make the argument that Stingley's injuries have limited his production, so maybe there's less known. Maybe we know less about his ceiling. But I will say, you ain't seeing 131 NFL rating anywhere on Ahmad Sauce Gardner's, stat sheet. He's not giving up that kind of production to quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like, Sauce put up 3 interceptions each season. You only got 6 interceptions coming from Stingley, and that was his freshman year. He hasn't picked the ball off since. I mean, Stingley, there's talent there. I would gladly take Stingley. Stingley's going to be a very good NFL corner. That's not the debate. I think Ahmad Sauce Gardner is clearly the better player. What are we talking about? Oh, Sauce is the best cornerback in this draft. Stingley. Oh, okay. Y'all funny, man. Are you going to stream the combine? You can't stream the combine, guys. You'll definitely get flagged for that. They get a little funny about the combine, guys. Ernest, what's up, man? He says Sauce gives me Sherman vibes. More athletic than Sherman. He said also like Taylor Britt out of Nebraska. Takeem said he has it as Garner, Stingley, Booth, Elam, McCreary are my top 5 corners this year. Trent Mcduffie is right there on the outside looking in. We got some similar, but there's one player I got differently than you do. There's one player I got differently than you do, which kind of switches things up, which is interesting. It's very interesting, guys. I don't know if you mentioned him, but did you watch any game footage on? Oh, yeah. Guys, Kier, Elam, McCreary, and Booth are all coming up, guys. That's the 3, 4, and 5 on my list, guys. It's all coming up, guys. It's all coming up. We badly need a cornerback and think one of the top 3 will fall to us. Love your information vids, my man. Hey, no problem, Shane. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Hey, no problem, man. Yeah, guys, we're going to definitely do film breakdowns. Film breakdowns are coming. As you guys can see, I'm transitioning. You can see that I turned the channel into the off season. What's up, Shane? He says, I don't understand people having us take a wide receiver once again. Get a vet, but we need these picks for an O-line, edge, corner, safety, linebackers. Too many big needs for luxury picks like another wide receiver. Yeah, you got to – I can't really project anything until I honestly see what we do in free agency. Free agency will dictate what happens in the draft. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we underestimate players that aren't from the SEC, especially when it comes to cornerbacks, linebackers, defensive ends, edge rushers, and defensive tackles. Fair point, man. One above all. What's good, buddy? He said, I love Sauce and want him in Philly, but do you consider Sauce going up against lesser competition? Yes, but he also shined in that game against Alabama where he shut people down, man. Sauce played really, really well in the playoffs, man. He was really good. What's up, Michael? How you doing, buddy? He says, just want to say good morning and thank you for your content, Coach. Love your ability to break things down in a way that entertains and educates. Hit that like, everyone. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all so much. Off topic. Have you seen KT's take on Alabama players? I have not. NFC's Beast. If you hit me up like on Twitter or through email or whatever, just send me the clip, man, or comment it down in the video. Comment it like in the actual like comment section, and I'll click on it later. Eagles Clip said, nah, don't show it. Like commentary stream. Maybe. We'll have to see. I mean, if I had the time to like mute it and just kind of sit here and watch what's going on, I'll talk about what I see. I think we take a cornerback in the first round along with a defensive end. Remember, we wanted Surtain and Horn last year. I think it depends on who's there. You know what I'm saying? Guys, I really do think it depends on who is there. But, yes, I do expect that high in this draft. I don't think it necessarily has to be the first round, to be honest, T. Lewis. But I do think that somewhere between our 3 first-round picks and that pick at 51, we will take a defensive line. I think it's a guarantee that between those 4 picks, a D lineman is coming off the board to the Eagles. All right, guys, let's talk about that 3, 4, and 5 spot because I got a little shakeup from Takeem. I got Roger McCreary as the number 3 corner for a lot of reasons. Number one reason I have him there is that this guy played a ton of snaps. He played a ton of snaps. He's been consistent to an extent minus his sophomore year, 2020. I felt like McCreary didn't have the best season. But what I think it gives you is if you look at Derek Stingley Jr., if you look at Ahmad Sauce Gardner, and you cannot get those dudes. And I think for the Eagles, it's probably not happening with either one of those players. Roger McCreary is the next guy in terms of disrupting passes. So let's take a look, guys. His freshman year, he ranked 41st overall his freshman year in coverage. All right, 10 forced incompletions, 10 pass breakups, 1 interception. He gave up a touchdown, right? Sophomore year, 5 forced incompletions, 5 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, gave up 5 touchdowns. That's what hurt him his sophomore year. His junior year, man, he balled this past year, guys. For real, McCreary is kind of underrated. I'm not going to lie to you. 20 forced incompletions, 13 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, only gave up 1 touchdown. Man, he could actually go take the ball away. He's got 6 interceptions, okay? This guy has 35 forced incompletions, guys. And then he's got 28 pass breakups. 35 forced incompletions, 28 pass breakups, 6 interceptions. The dude has played a ton of snaps since his freshman year. He played in the SEC, so we don't have to question the level of competition. And the only year where it got a little sideways is his sophomore year because his freshman year, 57.8 passer rating giving up, not bad. His junior year, past season, 57.8 passer rating giving up. The only year it got sideways, like I said, was the 89.4 passer rating he got up in 2020. I honestly kind of have McCreary as my 3rd guy on the board. I will say that like teams they're gonna look at this differently. I'm just talking about purely overall. You got to consider scheme with a lot of these dudes, right? Scheme will matter. And I don't know how some of these guys will fit into each team scheme, so I can't say who will be the 3rd dude that comes off the board because your scheme fit will matter a lot. But I definitely have McCreary as my 2nd guy, or 3rd guy. I'm sorry, McCreary is that 3rd guy for me. The 4th guy is Kaiir Elam. And Kaiir Elam, another guy, a lot of size. I thought that if you go back to what he did as a freshman, just like Stingley, he came out swinging his freshman year. What I love about these dudes is you go right to 2019 on all these guys that are in like the top 8 guys. They all really kind of started their careers in 19. It's collegiate careers, I should say. So it makes it really, really simple to break this stuff down because I'm not having to judge these weird different ways of where they played. So Kaiir Elam, his freshman year, ranked 9th overall in terms of the coverage grade by PFF. He had an 89.8. So, I mean, he was definitely right up there with guys like Derek Stingley Jr., and he was right up there with Ahmad Sauce Gardner right from his rookie season. There's a lot of potential here with Kaiir Elam. So I get why somebody like Takeem might have him rated third. I definitely understand. The only reason I didn't is I think he got worse. I think you could argue that actually he's been decreasing a little bit as he's had to take on number one wide receivers. He's not really a guy that's going to get he's gotten better at the ball skill aspects of things, right? Like the sophomore, junior year, he at least started taking the ball away. Got 5 interceptions over the last 2 years. But he's another guy that gets in there. He can break passes up. He's got, as I'm reading it right now, 21 forced incompletions in his collegiate career. If I look at pass breakups, that's 12, goes to 15 pass breakups in his collegiate career. Combine that with his interception marks. He's got 3, 5, and 6 in terms of Kaiir Elam. So I mean, he'll get in there, he'll disrupt the ball, he'll take the football away if he gets an opportunity to. Completion percentages. Let's just look at completion percentages. His freshman season, 43.5%. Dudes aren't completing the ball on him, man. 42.6% his sophomore year. And then his junior year this past year, which was the highest one he had, 52.8%. It's not bad, guys. He's given up some touchdowns here and there. The last 2 years, he's given up 5 touchdowns, which is a little concerning. But I'll just say, passer rating. His freshman year, Kaiir Elam's passer rating, it's the most impressive one that I've seen. 18.3 passer rating surrendered. That dude was really good as rookie. Well, not rookie, but his freshman season at Florida. Past that, 65.8 his sophomore year. Past that, 75.1. So I will say, like I said, there's been this decrease from this really high player. But definitely, I think Kaiir Elam for me is my clear, solid number 4 corner in this draft class. And I know a lot of you guys might be like, Gate, don't you really like Booth? I do like Booth, Andrew Booth Jr., but I got concerns. I got concerns after I saw the film. If you give me a second, I'll explain what number one what stood out to me about Booth. The first thing that stood out to me is that he hasn't played a ton of snaps. He's played in a decent secondary that had guys like A.J. Terrell there. You can't hold that against him. I get that, guys. But I'm just saying, he's been around really high productive ball players. Same thing with these Washington corners. They had hold in there. And saying that his freshman year, he only played 27 snaps. Coverage snaps, guys, coverage snaps. His sophomore year, 192 coverage snaps. And then finally, his junior season, he played 334 coverage snaps. Hard to grade 27 coverage snaps, guys, because you can overdo it. He gave up 66% completion, but it was only on 3 attempts. I'm not going to really hold that against him. That's kind of crazy. He did have a pass breakup and a forced incompletion on those 3 attempts. So, I mean, the one, breakaway he basically got, the one pass breakup he got was a forced incompletion with a PBU there. I can't really use that freshman year, right? You just can't really use it. His sophomore year, he has 192, a little bit more data to go off of, right? 14 to 29, 48%. So we see that he's right there with these top cornerbacks once he got a chance to get in the rotation and got a chance to play. So now he's right there with these dudes. 4 forced incompletions, 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. Only gave up a 59.6 NFL passer rating, so respectable. Not quite to the crazy numbers we've seen from some of these other dudes, but it's respectable, right? He did give up 2 touchdowns. Not horrible. Guys get beat. It happens. So as I look at it right now, we're already looking, he's got 5 pass breakups and 5 forced incompletions. He goes into his junior year where he plays the most snaps of his career. Quarterbacks went 30 of 49 against him this season, guys. 61.2% completion rate. But he had 4 forced incompletions, 3 pass breakups, 3 interceptions. He gets to the football, right? I mean, we see that right from the jump that he got to the football. 5 interceptions in his career, gave up another 2 touchdowns. NFL quarterbacks got him, or not NFL quarterbacks, my bad, guys. Quarterbacks got him, so these NFL passer rating, what they would call the NFL passer rating model. So college quarterbacks got him for a 69.2 passer rating. That's not bad. None of those numbers are completely, alarming. But in saying that, I don't think that he has Elam's. I don't see Elam's number there. I don't see McCreary's production there. Certainly doesn't have Stingley's freshman year production. You can argue that Stingley's been a little iffy his sophomore and junior year. And I certainly wouldn't put him anywhere near Ahmad Sauce Gardner. But he's still a good player. I still think I have those guys 3, 4, and 5. I got McCreary 3. I got Elam 4. I got Booth 5. I think all 5 of those dudes probably stand a really good shot at honestly being a first-round pick, to be quite honest. All right, guys, let's get to comments, and then I'll talk about the back end of where I see these guys coming in, the last of these guys here. What's up, One Above All? He said, one more question, Gate. Would you be interested? Would you be interested in DJ Shark on a Prove It? And have you watched the other Cincy quarterback, Kobe Bryant? Yeah, Kobe Bryant actually has really good numbers, man. I didn't watch him in particular, but I mean, of course, when you watch film of guys, you see the other guy here and there on plays. He's pretty good. He's not a bad player at all. DJ Shark, sorry, one above all. I forgot to answer your DJ Shark question. Yes, I would be interested in DJ Shark. The Eagles already had interest in him in 2018. He does have the big body. I don't think he's necessarily like a possession receiver per se, but I think he could be good for Philly. And it's just a matter of where they see, what are the medicals on that broke ankle? Like where is he at in that? What's up, Alexis? He says, hi, I want an edge. If you go back a couple of days ago, I talked about edge rushers, guys. I think that was Wednesday's show. What's up, Gabe? The one player I absolutely do not want is George Karlaftis. Why don't you like Karlaftis, Gabe? Show Enough 215 said, we need the best impact player for a secondary in the first round. I hear a linebacker and edge rusher, which is fine, but we need the best impact player in the first round for our secondary. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we could get a safety in position for the first round, but if something crazy happens, maybe. Unspoken said, would you take a corner at 15? Seems like there are more pass rushers than corners. Actually, I think this draft is pretty decent on corners in the first round. It depends, man. I mean, we got the 15th and 16th pick. If I'm going to take both of those picks, then it doesn't, the order of operation there won't really matter as much. If I'm not going to take both picks, then that order of operation clearly matters. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a matter of like how you're going to use the picks. If I'm going to use one of the picks and not use the other pick, then I think it's because now you're talking about a couple of picks before you get back on the board again. So dudes can come off the board. I do think that this team will value edge rusher over corner. But if you're being honest and you just got a corner that's just way above that pass rusher, they probably should go corner. It's hard to say. I don't know who's going to be available. You know what I mean? What's up, Brokey says, I don't understand how so many people have Booth on their board so high. His highlights are mostly stopping the run rather than coverage. Karlaftis is my guy. Funny, man. I'm high on Elam. Caleb said, what's up, Caleb? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, Elam has some very intriguing film. His freshman year film, Caleb, was very impressive, man. The dude only gave up an 18 passer rating. Like, he was good, man. He was good. I think if you're banking on potential, right? So if you're looking at, okay, McCreary may not have the same ceiling as Elam, and I'm going to draft ceiling, then I could see elevating Elam above him. I just think McCreary is very much, he's battle tested. You know what you're getting. But yeah, Elam has very high potential, and you can see that from his freshman film where the dude gave up pretty much it's one of the best. I don't know if it's the best. I'd have to filter for it, but it was one of the best markers in terms of passer rating, especially from a guy that's, playing over 200 coverage snaps. Karlaftis is who I want. What's up, Caleb? How you doing, buddy? Matt Hatter says, I just want the best player available. Yeah, me too, but yeah, we got to see what they do in free agency. And I'm going to get to the free agency in a minute, guys. I do got some names written down. We'll talk about free agency, but I really wanted to lead off with the draft on this one just because I feel like corner is a very high probability to be taken by the Eagles in this draft class. The Gambling Hippie said, what are your top 4 cornerbacks so far in your tape studies? Not completely done yet, guys. I cannot say that I'm completely done analyzing every single player that's going to be part of my evaluations for this draft class at cornerback. But so far, the way I have it done is I have a 1A and a 1B. I really, if someone says that they have Stingley, like 2020 has Stingley as their number 1 corner, I really don't have a problem with it. I mean, Stingley's a high player. I mean, for me, I got some specific reasons why I dropped him down. But I got a 1A and a 1B here. I got Ahmad Sauce Gardner as my 1A. I got Stingley as my 1B. My third corner would be Roger McCreary just because the guy forced 35 incompletions, has 27 pass breakups. I mean, he's just battle-tested, man. Kaiir Elam is my number 4 corner because I think he's the next guy in terms of, like, crazy ceiling levels of, like, Stingley and Gardner. I think the next guy is Elam in terms of that crazy ceiling. The dude was Elam was spectacular his freshman year. After Elam at 4, I got Andrew Booth Jr. as my 5. He's got 9 forced incompletions, 8 pass breakups, 5 interceptions. I do think that there's some ball skill there. I do think that he does play the run fairly well. I don't have him up there with McCreary, Elam, Gardner, and Stingley, but that does not mean that he will not be drafted ahead of those guys. Teams are funny, guys. I I can't say where a dude's going to get drafted, but that's how I have my 1 through 5. My 6 is very, very eerily similar to some of the comments that have been here. Trent Mcduffie is my 6th cornerback. And I'm going to get into that in a second, why I got him rated so highly like that. Roger says he really likes Booth Jr. You said Booth Jr. struggles versus bigger wide receivers. I'd have to see, man. I'd have to see that. Sauce, Elam, Stingley. I hope we get one of those 3 in that order. Stingley / Garner, Kalarftis, Burks. Those are your favorite players 2020 in this draft class. Eagle Slayer 95 said defense, defense, defense. What's up, man? How you doing, buddy? He says, I agree. Sauce is better. I like him on those big physical players like Mike Evans more so than I like Stingley on that type of matchup. McCreary is very underrated. Booth Jr. going to test very well. Kyler Gordon probably solid 6th best cornerback. So that's an interesting take, Red Eagle. I don't have Kyler Gordon above Trent McDuffie. But Kyler Gordon had a better 2021 season than Trent McDuffie. So it's a little complex. It's definitely a little complex here, Red Eagle. Robert Gillespie, what's good, buddy? Says DJ would be nice, speed and a big body. Exactly. Eagle says Landis says no George Karlaftis. Why are you guys so far down on George Karlaftis? I'm curious, guys. I'm curious on why you guys are so far down. I think George Karlaftis, if you're looking for inside-outside versatility, he's your guy. He's got a lot of that inside-outside versatility. Robert Gillespie said if we can get Devin Lloyd and a top 5 cornerback, you're pairing a top 5 defense along with a top 5 defensive lineman. Sorry, guys. It would be success. So corner, linebacker, D-line, basically. I didn't mean to stutter like 45 times in one sentence, guys. My bad. Robert Gillespie said, I have Booth Jr. as a top 10 quarterback. The cornerback from Auburn is solid too. Big cornerbacks at that with decent speed. Yeah. What's up, Steven? How you doing, buddy? He says, personally, I wish they would get a decent free agent wide receiver and take the top-rated D player with each of those first 3 picks. They have so many holes to fill. Philly Fan D said the Bills had the #1 defense and got smoked, built on the O-line, and would be in the taking for a wide receiver. What's up, Marianne? He said, hey, bro, I heard from a reliable source that the Eagles are going to get a wide receiver from the draft and free agency. Most of the picks are going to be dedicated towards the defense. No O-lineman. Interesting. I don't know if I agree that they're not going to, because, you can't predict the way your board's going to fall. You know what I mean, Marianne? I think that's very important. But interesting. It's interesting that you got a source that says that they're valuing receiver more than people realize. What's up, Caleb? He says, I got Devin Lloyd at 15, Ojabo or Leal at 16, and then one of those 3 corners I said at 19. That would be clutch. Next rounds, look for draft offensive line, maybe a physical running back, and maybe even a wide receiver. I know it's risky, but still. Myjai Sanders is a solid edge rusher and should be there in the 2nd round. Hey, man, I like players from Cincinnati. We've had a lot of luck with Cincinnati players. No doubt about it, man. Marianne said they really are going to be patient with Hurts. That's their plan. Gate, what did you make of Minshew's cryptic tweet? I didn't see it. What did he tweet out? 2020. I didn't actually see the tweet. Crypto's going to lose his if Minshew gets traded. I think it's a very good possibility. I mean, look, on one hand, you got a decent backup. Minshew's a good backup. You got a really good backup on a rookie contract. That's valuable. But, I mean, look, man, if people are offering you day 2 value for Gardner Minshew, like a 3rd round pick, I think you got to make that pick, man. You can draft a cornerback. You can get a quarterback in the 4th round, 5th round that can come in here and be, your 3rd quarterback. And then, yeah, you might have to spend a couple $1 million for a legitimate, veteran quarterback. But it is what it is, man. I mean, I think the rest of the roster needs to be built through the draft. So, I mean, I would consider it, man. Oof. Good question, man. One above all says, Trayvon Walker or Karlaftis? That one is a very good question, one above all. I really like Trayvon Walker's film a lot. I I think Karlaftis is probably the better technician. I think Trayvon Walker might have the higher ceiling of these two. Now, it's not like I'm watching 10 games and breaking this down. I'm basing this off of like 4 games so far. But, oh, man, I mean, it depends. Like, do you want a guy that you know can win right now? Probably go get Karlaftis. Do you want a guy that you think could be 2 or 3 years down the road, like Pro Bowler? I'd probably go after Walker, to be quite honest. What's up, Marcus? How you doing, man? He says, just tuning in. What's up, Coach? Which pick would you think would be used to draft a corner, if any? Would he be aggressive with that 15 pick, or would we wait to see who falls to us and potentially trade back? I think it depends upon what you think of guys like McCreary, Elam, and Booth Jr. Because I'm pretty certain you're going to get one of those 3 guys without a doubt if you really want them between 15 and 19. One of those 3 dudes is going to be on the board. You're going to have the opportunity to get them. It's just a matter of, is that what the Eagles want to do? Are they even going to take all 3 picks? Are they going to take 2 picks and trade back and leverage? I mean, who knows, man? Like, there's a lot to break down there. There's a whole lot to break down there. NFC East B says, I think Taylor Britt, cornerback from Nebraska, could be a sleeper in the 4th round. Marcus said, are you going to do a big board this offseason? Yes, I am, Marcus, but I don't want to just do a generic big board, so I'm trying to get through the film on all these guys. Like, I've been spending every night at least 6 hours before I go to sleep, man. It's just been nothing but running like condensed version of 22 film on these guys. So I'm trying to get a feel to make like a legit board here. Like, I don't want to just pepper up people on a board, because I do feel like sometimes these guys just kind of throw names in there, and then they allow agents to influence what their thoughts are on players. And then I think it gets a little controversial with that kind of stuff, guys. I think some of these dudes might be look, I'm not going to get sued. I'm not going to say anything is going to get me sued, but I think that agents can influence those boards. Eagle Atlanta said George Karlaftis. Sorry, guys, it just jumped on me. I don't see the athleticism that translates into high numbers and sacks. I see Karlaftis as a Vinny Carey production-wise. That's not good enough for him to be a first-round pick. Maybe. I mean, I'll reserve it until I see the testing. And then, you got to see him go up against NFL talent and see how he won. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard because they don't give you time to sack numbers. Eagles has landed. In college, you don't really get that kind of tracking where you can say, like, okay, what was the time to sack? And I really don't want to get as far as like pulling a stopwatch out and trying to do it myself, man. I think it's a bit much, but I wish they had those type of stats and those type of things to track at the college level. The Gambling Hippie said Minshew to the Steelers for a 3rd or 4th rounder. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Eagles Realist, what's good, buddy? He said Jermaine Johnson, FSU versus Ojabo, the Michigan defensive end. Ojabo is probably the better athlete. Ojabo's only got 1 year on track record here. I really like Jermaine Johnson a lot. I like both those players, guys. I'll take either one of them very gladly. I'll take either one and feel very confident in what we just got. Jermaine Johnson, I'll say this, is that Johnson set the edge better than any player I watched on film. So it was more than just his pass rush production. That dude was an edge setter. I mean, I was really, really impressed with Johnson's film. Eagles Atlanta says Karlaftis to me has serious bust potential based off of watching him play. I just don't believe in him. I don't think he has the potential to be a game changer, more Derek Barnett production-wise. Matt Hatter said always go SEC player when they are close to each other in the draft. Maybe, but I think it's complexity here, guys, when we're talking about Stingley versus, Ahmad Sauce Gardner. Because we saw Ahmad Sauce Gardner play up against those same teams and shut it down. He shut Alabama down, man, to be fair. And then on top of that, there's injury concerns and there's a production issue with Stingley over these last 2 years. I think that production is being hampered by the injury, and I don't think that Stingley is as bad as the numbers he's produced the last 2 years. I think he's far too athletic for those numbers to be true, but those numbers are true in a sense, right? Like that was the quality of the work you put out there. I just think it was related to the injury. Then Brandon Graham. We can get Muma in the 2nd. That would be a steal. Yeah, I like his film a lot too. Marky Mack, what's good, buddy? Would you take a corner and safety in rounds 1 and 2 if the boards break that way? Absolutely, if the boards break that way, absolutely I would. What's good, Caleb? Y'all know I like Ojabo. Need to see combine. I want an edge guy, 270 plus. Need somebody that can set the edge. I like dudes from A&M, but pass rush ain't there. I want a pass rusher and an edge setter like Leal. Leal might be there when we pick. Caleb, as weird as that is, because he's had a dip in production. So some guys are kind of questioning his tape a little bit. So there's a possibility that Leal might actually make it to 15. I don't think it's like 100%, but it's possible, man. Stingley is overrated. I know Devontae Smith was a complete beast in college, but he's one of a few that flat out torched Stingley on tape. And I peeped that Stingley checks out too often during games. Caleb said Leal sets the edge and has a good get off and initial pass rush move. Man, Caleb, I really want to get you and Jalen on some of these offensive linemen and these defensive linemen to break down film. I'm working on trying to get you guys actual like film to work with, to actually see. But I would love to get your guys' take actually on a live stream with the three of us. So that way, we can control film and control the comments and everything kind of together. So that way we can actually provide that kind of value, because you guys have really good eyes for that type of play. And he's a big body. Say-Sign, what's up, buddy? He said, this draft is loaded with defensive talent. There's no way we miss on our picks. We better not. And you're right. This is a very good defensive draft. I 100% agree. You think the corner class this year is looking to be stronger than last year? Ooh, I don't know, Marcus. That's a heck of a question. I really don't know, because I do think that the last two draft classes have been very good at wide receiver and corner. I don't know. I think it's a fair question. A.J. Terrell turned out to be really good. That was 2020, not 2021. This is 2022. I think it's got some guys. I do think that there's 5 legit first rounders in this draft class. And I got to be honest with you. Trent McDuffie might sneak up into the first round. Trent McDuffie is good. And then in the second round, I really like guys like Martin Emerson, and I like Kyler Gordon a lot. I think those two dudes, there's something there, man. I think those guys are really good. Not A&M, I meant FSU. Yeah, you're talking about Jermaine Johnson. I got you. That's facts, Gate. Jermaine Johnson sets the edge like you know what. Yeah, he does, man. Like that. I was really shocked at what I saw on film from him setting the edge. I was like, oh, man, he plays violent. I like dude from FSU, but pass ain't there. The pass rush ain't there yet. I want Leal. Did Stingley Jr. fully recover from his injury? I don't think so, man, because he had to shut it down this year 2 games in. So, Cree, I don't know where he's at in terms of the rehab yet. It's really hard to say. For sure, I'm with it. Just send the film. Absolutely, guys. We'll get it set up, Caleb. Leal put on weight to help the team inside and look slower, but did for his team. He needs to show up at the combine more in shape and quicker, or he will fall to the second. Ooh, NFC Beast, you think Leal could go all the way to – I don't know if he'll fall that far, but I'm definitely going to track that, because if you're right, man, I think you deserve a prop for that, because that's a heck of a take to have. If Hamilton, Sauce, Dean, and Linderbaum are still on the board for us, who would be your odd man out? Probably Linderbaum out of that group. Who the Eagles would probably do? Dean. N'Kobe Dean would probably be the odd man out knowing the Eagles. I would take Hamilton, Sauce, and Dean. I would take the safety. I would take the corner. I would take the linebacker, and I would feel hecka good. I'd feel crazy good about my 2022 defense. I mean, it's young. It's going to make mistakes. It may not be top 10, but it's got some athleticism, and it's going to make plays. And, man, those 3 dudes are impact players, each of them. Hamilton's an impact player at safety. Sauce is an impact player at corner. N'Kobe Dean's an impact player at linebacker. Like, that's such a good defensive draft, man. But for me, I would put Linderbaum out of that one. But if I had to guess for the Eagles would probably take Linderbaum and remove Dean. It's just, just judging their history, guys. Just judging the history. All right, guys, let's talk back at end of the draft here, right? So the next 3 guys I got: number 6, Trent McDuffie; number 7, Martin Emerson, Mississippi State's cornerback; and then number 8, Kyler Gordon. So I got 2 Washington Huskies, and I got 1 SEC guy here. I like all 3 of these guys. I do think this is a really good corner draft. Now, I will say, a little hard to rate these dudes, man, because Trent McDuffie, Ah, man, Trent McDuffie's had such a good year, man. 11 forced incompletions, 9 pass breakups. He's had 2 consecutive seasons of like only giving up a 52 passer rating. He's not the tallest dude. He's like 5'11". I do think he prefers to play outside more so than inside. I think Trent McDuffie can play, man. I do. The only knock I really had on Trent McDuffie was when I was really looking over Trent McDuffie's film. I don't think that he didn't stand out in terms of the interceptions. For like what he is on the outside, I would kind of expect that guy to be a little bit more on top of taking the football away. And he only really came away with 2 interceptions. One his freshman year, one his sophomore year, and that was it. With that said, man, he got really good over time. He had a really rough sophomore year. We only played 120 coverage snaps, so I wouldn't even count that one. But 44% completion rate is all that was completed against him. 52, NFL, passer rating. Well, to say passer rating, not NFL passer rating, but passer rating. No touchdowns this season he gave up. Now, his freshman year, he did get beat for 4 touchdowns his freshman year, so it's a little complex there. But I still have Trent McDuffie as that 6th guy. I think McDuffie's good, man. I think he's a really good prospect. Is he a fit for the Eagles? I think that he's too similar to McPherson personally. Is he better than McPherson? Probably. But I think they're too similar, man. I mean, unless that's the direction Eagles are heading, and that's the type of corners they're going to go after, you never know. But I will say that, like, their freshman year, this is Washington secondary their freshman year. I'm sorry, not their freshman year, their 2019 season. All right, Trent McDuffie, okay, Kyler Gordon, and Elijah Molden. Man, that secondary was stacked, dude. They had a stacked secondary back in 2019. My 7 guy has all the measurables, everything you're looking for in terms of your measurables. And Kyler Gordon, Mississippi State. Kyler Gordon had, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Back up. Kyler Gordon's not Mississippi State. My bad, guys. Martin Emerson. Sorry, man. My notes got mixed up here. Martin Emerson, Mississippi State. The physical size, right? He's got the size. The last time we ended up adding a guy from Mississippi State, I don't know if you ever heard of this dude named, you may have never heard of this guy. So just stick with me for a second, man. This player named Darius Slay. I'm joking, guys. Martin Emerson, the size profiles there, guys. 16 forced incompletions, 15 pass breakups. He's got the ideal size to play the position, but the production's not there. This is very much a projection type player. This is somebody that should probably not be taken in the first round. Maybe a team takes him just because they like the measurements on the player. Hard to say. They may value that SEC experience and say that, it's hard to find these guys. He's played 187 snaps his freshman year, 410 snaps his sophomore, 375 his junior. He's played some football, guys. He's played a lot of football, man. Martin Emerson, coverage grade, PFF's markers, guy. 61.6 his freshman year, 82.9 his sophomore year, 78.8 his junior year. So he got better, right? Now, let's take a look at his passer ratings. This is where I think things get a little complex with him. His freshman year, 98.1 passer rating surrendered. Sophomore year, probably his best season on record. 76 passer rating given up. Respectable. His junior year, 100.3 passer rating. That's why I'm saying this is definitely more of a prospect. He's more of a prospect than a known commodity. But I could see the Eagles taking a risk like this in the second round. Talk about it for a second, guys. He's given up high completion percentages. 54.5% his freshman year, 55.9% his sophomore year, 58% his junior year. The ball skills went down this year a little bit. It's complex, guys. His sophomore year, man, he had 12 forced incompletions, 12 breakups. That's good. That's really good numbers, man. He was playing to his length. But his freshman and his junior year, not quite as impressive, right? 2 forced incompletions, 1 pass breakup his freshman year, 2 forced incompletions, 2 pass breakups his junior year. He's only got 1 interception over 3 years. He's a projection, guys. He's a project, in my opinion. But I do think there's something there. Like, I'm a little concerned he's given up 6 touchdowns in that 3-year time span. But I definitely think there's something there to work with. I'm very interested to see what Emerson's combine, if there's a combine. I have no clue if there's going to be a combine this year, guys. I'd be really interested to see what Emerson's combine numbers come back to. And then on top of the combine, like, what's his pro day numbers? Emerson, yeah, these guys won't qualify for the Senior Bowl, which really stinks because some of these dudes would be really interesting to see play. All right, the last guy on this list that we're going to talk about is Kyler Gordon. Kyler Gordon's actually got decent size. He's like 6 foot. But the weird thing about Kyler Gordon is that he plays a lot inside as a kind of a nickel. He plays in the slot, against the slot more. Has the size to play outside. He just he reminds me of that dude that the Giants picked up that was at UCF. He kind of reminds me of him a little bit. So Kyler Gordon, coverage grade, PFF's coverage grade. His 2019 season, freshman year, 70.7, guys. Sophomore year, 75.8. And then this year, man, he exploded onto the scene this year, guys. 89.6. I mean, he's played some snaps. So 270 coverage snaps his freshman year. Only 92 coverage snaps his sophomore year, so 2020. I don't know what happened there. I do know that the Pac-12 and all those guys started late, so I don't know if that played a role into why there's so little. And then 354 coverage snaps his junior year. Let's talk about that junior season, guys. 21 of 41, so 51.2% completion rate given up. Not bad. 6 forced incompletions, 6 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. He didn't have a single interception to his name until this past year. Then you see he's getting in there, breaking up passes, and he's taking the ball away. He didn't give up any touchdowns, and he only gave up a 49.1 passer rating on the season. I see why some people have him as the 6th corner, Kyler Gordon. I got him because I don't see the consistency. I think McDuffie's been far more consistent. But I will say that 2021, Kyler Gordon was the better player in 2021. He's my 8th guy. I got, like I said, Trent McDuffie into Emerson into basically Kyler Gordon, my 6, 7, 8 cornerbacks in this draft class. I think all 3 of those guys have a very high probability of going in the 2nd round. If not in the 2nd round, I would say that there is a very, very good likelihood those dudes are going somewhere in the early 3rd because cornerbacks come off the board, guys. We know that. Let's do some comments real quick, guys. Show Enough said Hamilton, Sauce, and Dean is a dream draft gate. That would show on the field immediately. 100%, man. That would be a ridiculously good draft. I don't think that's going to happen, guys. I please do not confuse me to say like Gate thinks that's really going to happen. No, I don't. I really don't. I would love for it to happen. I highly doubt it happens. Matt Hatter said, bro, that would be awesome. No kidding, man. Like, if that happens, man, we're going to be celebrating. We're going to definitely be celebrating. Everybody clear your schedules for that Friday because, draft's going to start Thursday. So clear your Friday schedule in case that happens because we're going to have a fun night that night, guys. We're going to definitely be, toasting it up and running around the room getting crazy, guys, because, like, for real, that would be – I can't even fathom, like, the way the city would react to that draft. Marcus said Trent McDuffie would be a nice pick if we decided to trade back if anyone's trying to get into the top 20. I could see that. Like I said, I think he's a little similar in frame to McPherson, but I definitely think you can make the argument he's the better player. Although I'll be honest with you. Hey, man, McPherson had some good numbers in 2019, guys. I'm not going to lie. The Gambling Hippie said, how much of a drop-off do you see at this point from first-round corners to early second? McDuffie is not quite to the level of Elam in terms of the ceiling, right? He's not a ceiling player. But I do think that McDuffie in a different scheme fit, right? Booth is probably a much better scheme fit for certain teams. McDuffie's probably a much better scheme fit for other teams. I do think those two guys you can make really complex arguments here about. In terms of the rest of these guys, if Gordon's only a slot corner, he might fall to the 3rd round. If he's only going to play the slot as a nickel cornerback, he's probably going to fall to the 3rd round, to be quite honest. But if teams think that they can play him inside, outside, yeah, you might get something here, man. It might hang around a lot longer, to be quite honest. Then past that, guys, Emerson is the ceiling guy. So what I would say is my guys like Stingley, my guys like Kaiir Elam, my guys like Sauce Gardner, and Emerson, those are my ceiling guys in this draft class. Those are the dudes I think that could have like potentially really high ceilings if you can develop it. Still projection to some extent, but those dudes have really good ceilings, I think. And I think you look at guys like, Booth Jr., and you look at a guy like Trent McDuffie, you look at McCreary. I think those guys are a little more known. Like you kind of know what you're going to get out of them, that you're going to get solid play, but they may never be Pro Bowl level play. They may never have that kind of talent. Happy Friday. What's up, John? How you doing, man? Thank you. Happy Friday to you too, buddy. The Gambling Hippie said, do you think we draft a corner with more coverage, ball skills, or a bigger, tougher corner who is good against the run? Gambling Hippie, we better go get somebody that can come up and tackle. I would love to have both, but you better get up somebody and come up and tackle here. Laugh out loud. Eagles Atlantis says, I like Emerson Martin. A little concerned about his long speed. Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that could really improve his draft stock by what he does on the testing side of things. NFC's B said Emerson is another guy with the measurables for a cover 2D. He hasn't lived up to the billing. Questions on how much he wants it. Haven't heard the L word, though. Yeah, I mean, he's adequate competition, right? He's played early. I mean, it's definitely true, man. He's played early, and he's played a lot. One above all, you're getting to a player I'm about to name, man. I'm getting down to your comment. The Gambling Hippie said, is Gannon's claim to fame how well he is at developing corners? If so, I could see the Eagles grabbing a project in the second. Very possible, Gambling Hippie. Hamilton, Dean, and Sauce, wow, they will have to build a statue of Howie next. Akam, that's low-key funny, bro. You're right. One above all says, have you watched any film on Jalen Petrie? And if so, can he play more than the star role? I have. I got some things coming up. We're getting ready to talk one above all about him. He's coming up. He's on that these next two guys. I broke down film on 10 guys. I got 10 guys I'm ready to go to talk about. He's in that next group of guys. NFC's B says, I wouldn't be surprised if Hamilton falls to later first or goes top 5. Kind of weird, right? I agree with what you're saying. Like, who knows? I mean, if the team really values the position, a dude could go 5. He could go 15, 16 to the Eagles, or a dude might end up in the 20s. It is, he's definitely kind of an acquired taste, depending on where you are. But I think he's an impact player. I think teams would be stupid to let him get to us at 15. I really do. I think teams would be really missing the forest for the trees if that happens. All right, guys, let's talk about these last two players on my list. So these guys are completely different from everybody else that we've talked about, these other 8 guys. Those other 8 guys all came in together in 2019. It's different, these last 2 guys. These last 2 guys have been in college football for 5 years. They're older prospects. The first guy, my number 9 guy, getting to my guy, one above all's comment here. Let me find his comment real quick. One above all's comment. Jalen Petrie, my number 9. Number 9 guy. He's 5 years in college. He started back in 2017. He redshirted in 2019. He was he didn't transfer. I think it was injury-related redshirt. Played early and he played a lot early on. So going all the way back to 2017, played 154 coverage snaps, okay? Going all the way back. So his coverage grade, his freshman year, 57.6 from PFF, guys. All right, it's PFF's independent modeling there. He gave up 72.7% completion rate, 16 to 22. He forced 1 incompletion, 1 pass break, no interceptions, no touchdowns. NFL passer rating giving up was an 88.1. This is why I love Jalen Petrie. Go look for corners, go to 2017 and search for him and see if you can find him. You won't. He's listed as a linebacker. This dude is, I don't even know how to explain Jalen Petrie. He could be a nickel corner. He could be a safety. Man, right in a scheme like we run, the dude could be pretty much a Sam linebacker for us. I don't think he's going to be a linebacker at the next level. He's not built like that. I think he's going to be either a safety or a nickel corner, personally. 2018, guys, next year up on record here. He ends up basically having a 58.8 rating here for that season. Not really worried about it because where he's playing at, guys. Gives up 60% completion rate. But if you look at his NFL, what they call the NFL grade, so passer rating surrender to college quarterbacks, guys, only a 67.1 this time, I believe. So we see drastic improvement happening here, right? 2019, he gets redshirted. Now let's look over the last 2 years. The last 2 years where he's playing these really unique roles inside of defenses. So 2020 season, 19 of 31 passes complete, only played 340 snaps, 2 forced incompletions, 2 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. He only gave up a 47.1 passer rating surrendered. Those are impressive numbers, man. Those are really impressive numbers. And then he's got one more season on record, which is his past year. He had a 74. Well, I should say that in 2020, he had an 81.3 coverage grade from PFF. In 2021, he had a 74.7 coverage grade from PFF. This was the season he was targeted more than any other. 35 of 58, gave up 60% completion rate on almost 60 attempts. He was targeted, and he stood up, guys. 321 yards surrendered. He forced 6 incompletions, had 6 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, gave up no touchdowns, and only gave up a 61.1 quarterback rating. I don't know that Petrie is a fit on the outside for the Eagles. I don't think he's an outside corner per se. As a potential safety, strong safety, in the box safety, I'm low-key interested in Jalen Petrie. There's something here, man. There's definitely something here. I mean, the dude could be a safety, could be a slot cornerback. I don't know, nickel cornerback when I say slot cornerback. I really don't know what he's going to be at the league's level, but third round safety prospect, maybe. All right, the last guy I'm going to talk about, Houston's Marcus Jones. Very Mackenzie Alexander-like. Small guy, plays outside, 5'8", 5'9". Early on, he played inside as a nickel. Later on, he played outside. I'm going to get into Marcus. I know you guys be like, come on, Gate, don't tell us Marcus Jones. That dude's like 5'8". Give me a second. Give me a second, guys. Just stick with me, right? He ends up transferring to Houston. He started off with, I can't remember, guys. Where did he start off with? Like Troy, I think. I think he started off at Troy and then transferred to Houston. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, there were 2 games on his film from 2021 that bothered the crap out of me. He got toasted by Texas Tech and Cincinnati. Cincinnati at the end of the year ate him alive. So I'm not saying that to me, this is a 3rd, 4th round guy. But what I love about this guy is watch this guy on kick returns and punt returns. Watch this guy on kick returns and punt returns. This dude is low-key the best kick returner or punt returner, I think, in college football. In the NFL, I think if he's going to be a starter, it's probably going to be at slot cornerback. But he does – look, he's like a Mackenzie Alexander. He's got ball skills. He can play outside. Pause. I know that sounded wrong. But let's be real, guys. 5 interceptions, 12 pass breakups this past year. 12 pass breakups, 5 interceptions. This dude's 5'8". He's electrical on special teams. He's got inside-outside versatility. Man, they went after this dude. 78 attempts. 38 of 78. Only gave up 48.7% completion rate. 60.4 passer rating surrender against college quarterbacks. He's my 10th guy on this list. Like I said, I don't think you're going to convince Philly fans to let a 5'8" guy get another opportunity to play outside. We all love Mark McMillan. Us guys that are old enough to remember the 90s. Mighty Mouse was a good player, special player. Mackenzie Alexander and guys, Green Bay's got another guy like that too. These shorter dudes that can, Jair Alexander, these short guys that can definitely play on the outside. I know we like to we don't want to see that on the outside here. I agree. But in an emergency, breaking case of emergency type thing, sure, I think he could play it. I think he's destined to be a nickel corner though in the league. With that said, hey man, we need bodies that can play. So even inside, I don't think any of these young guys we got on the roster preclude us from taking a player like this, especially when you count in the fact that he's going to be deep on your roster. So he's a developmental guy. And being deep in your roster, how can you help this team if you're active for game days? He's electric at punt returns and kick returns. Number 10 on my list, guys. Number 10 on my list, and I know that is controversial. He's short, guys. He's definitely short, guys. Gotta love spell correct. Yeah, spell check's funny, bro. What's up, Shane? He says, do you think we'll see a good jump from Hurts, Milton, Quez, a few others in the upcoming season? I hope so, man. I really do hope so. I hope so, but who knows, man? It's hard to go out there and predict those type of things. Mad Hatter said Petrie is quick. His film, I can't say what he's going to test at, guys. I have no clue, but his film was quite impressive, man. And like I said, Jalen Petrie is a safety prospect. Intrigues the crap out of me. Not necessarily as a corner, but he's got this weird listing to where they kind of look at him as a slot corner. I don't know if I'd play him as a slot corner. I like him more so being put in that role as kind of your kind of that safety guy, that strong safety. Shonuff said Petrie's stats almost sound similar to Sidney Jones when he was in college. What's up, Messiah? How you doing, buddy? Can you make a video? or talk a little about what makes a linebacker a Sam, a Mike, or a Will, a safety, a free, or a strong, and etc., and the traits that work for those positions? Yeah, absolutely. Like just kind of talk about the back seven of a defense? Sure. He said 5'8" pass. I'm talking about showing off, not necessarily as like your starting outside corner. I'm talking about a guy that maybe gives you leverage on Avonte Maddox coming into a third contract, or if something happens with Avonte Maddox, you got a guy you can develop. And where I think, look, I like a few guys that are on the Eagles team, okay? But what I do like about this young man is if I'm going to put a guy as a deep rotational player in my secondary, so I'm double dipping in this scenario for basically a corner, secondary members. This guy can play punt returner or kick returner. That's what intrigues me about it, is I know I will get use out of him. Exactly, Takeem. He has incredible special teams value. Mad Hatter, Mark McMillan. Yeah, man, I used to love Mighty Mouse, but it's hard to convince Eagle fans to put that kind of guy back out there at corner again. Takeem said he's ranked as the best return specialist in the draft. What I saw in his film would tell me that whoever said that is right, because, man, it's there with him, dude. He's really good, man. I did say, come on, Gates, he's a midget. That's funny, man. Antoine Winfield was the best 5'8", 5'8.5", 9 foot, 5'9" corner to play the outside in the last 25 years. Not many 5'8" outside guys. Yeah, like Jair Alexander, Mackenzie Alexander, those dudes can play. I've seen a few comparisons of Sauce Gardner to a young Darius Slay. Do you agree with that comparison, Gates? Interesting comparison, Bobby. I don't know. Honestly, that's a great question. I'd have to really look at Darius Slay's freshman tape. Rookie season tape with Detroit, and then kind of look at what I think, what I really think of Sauce coming out of college. In my opinion, McPherson should fill in for Maddox if he's hurt or leaves. McPherson is a nickel in this league. He wants to play outside, though, man. He wants to be an outside corner, so I think they're going to have to contend with that. I would say Josiah Scott is probably the more natural nickel of those guys, and I think Josiah Scott is very good in the short zone. I think he can take the ball away. But I think what Marcus Jones gives you that McPherson doesn't give you and Josiah Scott doesn't give you is I think Marcus Jones is an exceptional punt returner and kick returner. So, and I'm not saying you don't move on from McPherson. You spent a 4th round pick on him. Like he's going to be here. You know what I mean? I highly doubt they move on this quickly. But that's what my argument is if we get a guy like, if we go into this particular draft and we're waiting around the 2nd round and we take Trent McDuffie, he's very similar to McPherson. It seems like there's a very clear way that they're viewing the scope and size of the cornerbacks. And we might have been all wrong about wanting those 6'1", 6'2" rangy guys that, the Xavier Rhodes guys that can get in there and break up passes and stuff like that. But I don't know, sure enough, it's hard to say, man. Like, I try to be real careful because when you're judging college film, man, like a lot of variables, man, a lot of variables to college film. You know what I mean? It's hard to be right all the time on college film. All right, guys, let's talk veterans. What are the veteran options here as we kind of close out our discussion this morning? A lot of veteran options. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Eagles would be smart to bring Steven Nelson back and not make this an outright need. If you got Steven Nelson in that room, you do not have to reach for somebody. You don't. You might say, Gate, how much money is Steven Nelson going to make? I don't think he's going to make that much money because of who's available. Now, scheme fit's going to matter, but look, J.C. Jackson, I think, is the best corner available in free agency. I don't know if he's going to make it to free agency, but if he does, he's going to get big money. Rasul Douglas is available. Carlton Davis is available. Mackenzie Alexander. Currently, right now, all these guys are available. Who knows if they'll really be available? You guys get what I'm saying. Levi Wallace is available. Charvarius Ward is available. Mike Hughes is available. Darius Williams of the Rams is available. Kevin King of Green Bay is available. Isaiah Oliver of Atlanta is available. And then you got Steve Nelson. So his market might not be as great as he wants it to be. So, I mean, maybe you can get a Steven Nelson to come back. Maybe you get lucky and get a Levi Wallace. Maybe somebody like Levi Wallace's market doesn't turn out the way he thought. I like Carlton Davis. I like Rasul Douglas. Those are really big body corners. You better have the right system and the right scheme. You better be in the right system, the right scheme for Carlton Davis or Rasul Douglas, or it's going to be a problem. But I do like both of those guys' fights on film. Same argument with Levi Wallace, to be quite honest. When I look at Mike Hughes, more of a man coverage guy. Tre'Davious Ward kind of plays both, probably a little bit more of a man coverage guy, though. Darius Williams, the problem with Darius Williams is I think he's going to get paid. I think Darius Williams and J.C. Jackson might be the guys that kind of get pretty decent contracts. I don't think Darius Williams' contract is going to come in the J.C. Jackson level. Like J.C. Jackson's going to, I think, is really going to get paid. But, you know, I do look at these fallback plans, right? You got Levi Wallace. You know, you got Steven Nelson. You got Isaiah Oliver. None of these dudes are special, but they keep you from like being like, crap, we're up the creek without a paddle, right? Kevin King, I think I would put Kevin King in that category of, you know, Levi Wallace, Carlton Davis, and Rasul Douglas. You better have the right scheme. You better definitely have the right scheme for Kevin King. But those dudes are all available. This is not a horrible free agency market, but I don't think it has the appeal of the top-notch guys. You know, the last couple of years, we've had those like really big appealing names that teams to go chase. I don't know if that's there outside of J.C. Jackson, and then probably Darius Williams might be that second guy. And then, look, you got veteran guys. You got guys that might have one more year of football life left, right? Think about what happened this year with Casey Hayward, where Casey Hayward had basically what I think is one more year left of football life. Maybe you can get that guy and then get a guy in the draft, and hopefully you can, you know, you don't have to reach. You can get a guy that's got the appropriate value, and you get a guy you can work in while you're still working McPherson in as well. But, you know, you got Joe Hayden, older guy, Stephen Gilmore, older guy, Kyle Fuller. I wouldn't call him too older. He's kind of right there with the Steven Nelson age. Xavier Rhodes, familiarity, older guy, probably might have one more year of football life left. But these dudes aren't going to make it that much longer. Chris Harris, I think, is done, to be honest. Patrick Peterson probably can make an argument he's done. Casey Hayward probably can make a, you know, argument that he's done. But you could look to that side of the market too, guys. We could absolutely look to that side of the market, shore it up, and just kind of do what you can do here, man. I mean, that's the best you can do. But I'm not opposed to bringing Steven Nelson back, even though he's not a long-term solution. He stops you from having to go crazy reaching for guys, you know, in terms of your draft. I think the Eagles should be smart about it, you know, and find a nice veteran that's going to give you decent money and valuation so you don't have to overspend for that position group, or a young guy that very much like Isaiah Oliver is not proven. He's not proven. Isaiah Oliver is not going to command big money, in my opinion. I think he's going to get a very Steven Nelson-like deal that Steven Nelson got this year, assuming Atlanta doesn't re-sign him. But I look to those as Isaiah Olivers. You know, I look to the Steven Nelsons. I watch a Levi Wallace and see how his market plays out. Levi Wallace is probably going to want that money, and he's probably not going to get it. You kind of have to watch how the market plays out, and then you snatch a guy if you can. I do think Darius Williams and J.C. Jackson are going to get paid. But, you know what I mean? I don't see many, if any. Tre'Davious Ward is solid. TJ Carrie, he's okay. I mean, look, I still think TJ Carrie you got to be a little careful about there, but I mean, it's not like TJ Carrie still probably wouldn't be your second or third best corner. What kind of contract would you like to see the Eagles sign Nelson to? You got to let the market play out for Nelson, because Nelson's probably going to want a few years. I mean, maybe the Eagles give him one of those 3-year contracts that's really a 2-year contract, but in my opinion, he's probably destined for another 1-year deal. 1 year, pay him a little bit more than you paid him this year. I'd say anywhere between $3.5 to $5 million for that 1 year is what you're going to pay a guy like Steven Nelson. We'll have to see how the market shakes out, though, guys. I can't say for sure, Marky Mac. I have no clue for sure. NFC's B says cornerbacks that will not get re-signed or released. I do see many linebackers that could be released. TJ Carey, solid too. What's up, Dante? How you doing, buddy? Anthony Everett. I haven't had enough chance to really look into Anthony Everett, to be honest, Hakeem. I'd have to really look into it before I endorsed him or said what I really think about him. It's a lot of names in this free agency market, so it's really hard to like track all these guys, to be honest. Like it's difficult. Shonuff said I'm reaching for Sauce. However, I do have that fear that he could turn into Greedy Williams. What's up, Mr. One Charlton? He says, I would bring Dennis Allen here as a defensive coordinator. He's a pro. I don't know if there's been an update on the Texans job. I know that they brought in somebody as an offensive coach to interview as well. Who knows, man? I have no clue how that Texan job is going to play out, to be honest. if the Texan job falls on Gannon and Gannon becomes that guy, then they do have to look at it. Now, I look at it from that standpoint of you got to find out who has the relationship with your coach. Like who does he know? You know what I'm saying? Like who's that guy? Dante said this is a position group Howie loves to add numbers to. I think we're drafting 2 plus bringing in 1 or 2 free agents. I hear you, Dante. I definitely think they're not just going to stand on their, they're not just going to stand around. I mean, we saw how many darts they threw at the boards from trades. You know what I mean? Like they went after a crap ton of guys. They're just trying to throw darts at the board. Anthony Everett got injured, but he should be good come training camp. Interesting. Texas interviewed Hines Ward for a head coach 2 weeks ago. Yeah, there's another guy they interviewed too. I can't remember who it was, but he was a much more serious candidate to where there could be calls to believe that he might be in that running as one of the lead candidates as well. So it might not be as clear cut for Gannon as people thought. Who knows? I mean, I'm not going to make that prediction. There's just no way of really knowing it. You know what I mean? But we'll see how it works out, guys. I mean, no telling really. The guys that are on the roster. Let me see if I can't. Let me pull this over here, guys. Well, I don't have to do all that. I guess I can do this. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to find if I can. Let me pull up because we did trade away a lot of assets for players. I mean, I don't know how the Eagles front office views any of these dudes that we traded, like Tay Gowan. We went and got Tay Gowan. I mean, we traded away a lot of picks for a lot of different guys. So I don't know how the front office is going to view some of these younger prospects at corner. I mean, that's really going to be the trick here. They got Andre Chachere, who's not that young, to be fair, but got experienced special teams player. I don't know if they see him as a back end of the roster type, player here. Tay Gowan, of course, we talked about Tay. They got, let me take a look, guys. Now, Avonte Maddox will be locked up to long-term deals. Zach McPherson's a young guy, of course. Josiah Scott, we talked about him a little bit earlier. Josiah Scott's a guy that likes to play outside as well, but probably destined to be a nickel cornerback in the league. Really good short zone player. Sorry, guys. I don't know where I was going with Zallo, but he's a short zone player, to be honest. Carrie Vincent Jr. is the other guy I was thinking about. Carrie Vincent Jr. we traded for recently. Mac McCain's a guy that we kept signing here and there onto the practice squad. So, I mean, when you look at Tay Gowan and Josiah Scott and Carrie Vincent Jr. and Mac McCain, we kept constantly adding these guys back for whatever reason. And I'm not too sure how the front office views these guys, because that's 1, 2, 3, that's 4 young guys that we traded picks for, I can't remember what they all were. Like they were 5th or 6th evaluations, 6th-round evaluations we gave up. I think Josiah Scott we did give a 5th up for. I think Carrie Vincent was a 6th. I think Tay Gowan was a 6th, right, guys? And I think Mac McCain was just a signing. We got him off the waiver wire, I believe. We just claimed him, I think. I have no clue how this front office views these guys. Hard to say, right? I mean, I don't think that these guys would preclude me from going after more talent at the cornerback position, but I don't know how the front office views it, right? Tay Gowan is probably the only clear outside corner. Carrie Vincent is kind of a nickel corner / safety versatility guy. Mac McCain is kind of an outside corner. I could see that one. Had really good film from an HBCU school out here in Greensboro, North Carolina A&T. Josiah Scott's kind of that inside-outside versatility guy, kind of like a nickel to an outside corner. I don't know. I have no clue how they're going to see these guys. I mean, that's really hard to predict. Adding a veteran wide receiver like Jamison Crowder would be great. Dante said, I didn't see the beginning, but how deep is this cornerback class in the draft? I think it's pretty deep, Dante. I think this is a really, really good 1st and 2nd round quarterback draft. I think you're going to be able to pull some guys in those first 2 rounds. One above all said his free agent wish list is Devondre Campbell, DJ Shark, Marcus Williams, and Emmanuel Ugba, and maybe BJ Hill, NC State guy. I'm always in favor of NC State guys, one above all. I like BJ Hill. BJ Hill was a very athletic guy for State, very strong, very, very strong interior player. Red Eagle said, if we get a chance to bring back Nelson for a good price, that's our best bet. Still hope Tay Gowan shows us something. I agree with you to an extent. You said Trey Harrington is a sleeper corner in free agency. could sign him to a 1-year prove-it deal. Takeem said he thinks that Tay Gowan's going to be used as a taller slot corner, not so much as an outside. Carrie Vincent Jr. is a shorter outside corner behind McPherson. Mac McCain is just a fill-in outside practice squad corner. I don't know. They kept going back to him, though, Takeem. I don't understand why they kept claiming him. I think they definitely want to throw darts at the board. But like I said, Takeem, me personally, I don't think these dudes would preclude me from going into free agency and trying to upgrade, and certainly trying to upgrade the talent level inside the draft. But at least they give you, like, hey, we got a lot of young prospects. If we can't get those guys, you know what I mean? You definitely get that kind of thing there. Unspoken said, I really thought Tay Gowan would get a shot at some point. Carrie Vincent Jr. looked confused against Dallas. Yeah, I agree. Carrie Vincent did not look good in that game. But they were running a pretty vanilla defense, to be quite honest, and you got a lot of dudes all at once trying to communicate. I think the communication was really bad that game, and I think that's what killed us, guys. Philly the podcast. What's up, Joe? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you tuning in, man. I'm doing well, man. Just talking. You missed the spicy talk earlier, man. We were talking about Ahmad Sauce Gardner versus, Stingley. Who's really the better player? Hey, man, we had some disagreement. A lot of us are on the sauce. We're on the sauce, literally and figuratively. And then, we got some people like 2020 that really feels like that the knee is what hampered Stingley. When Stingley gets to the league, it's going to be something special. Black Star, what's good, buddy? He says, what do you think about free agent Justin Reed for Houston? His numbers aren't that impressive, but if you look at the underlying skill set, he's a 4.4 40 safety. I mean, that kind of athleticism paired up with Marcus Epps, who's also a tremendous athlete, would make for a really interesting young second, like back end of the defense. Those two guys are very athletic. That would be a pretty interesting thing to see happen. Show Enough said, all this brings back players is only going to give you the same result on defense as this past season, especially if Gannon stays, switch it up. Yeah, it's not about that, though, Show Enough. I think you do it so that way you don't feel stressed to overreach. So, like, say you're sitting there and you just don't have, like, say we get a surprise and 3 corners go before 15. I don't think that's going to happen, Show Enough, but say it happens, right? And say you don't have, I still think Elam or McCreary should come off the board. I would go 4, but say you don't have that kind of grade on Elam, you got him as a back end of the first round, early second round, evaluation. And you can't get back to that area by trading back. You know what I mean? Like, it just keeps you from overdrafting a guy. You know what I mean? Although I do say I think Elam's going to be good. I would take Elam. In that situation, I don't hesitate on McCreary or Elam at 15 or 16, even 19. If you can get any of those 3 guys between 15, 16, 19, I think you take them. But it does help you, man. It helps you where you got a solid play out there. Let's City Lambo, what's good, buddy? He said, thoughts on Kobe Bryant, the other Cincinnati corner. He popped a little bit on film, but I wasn't watching him in particular. Underlying analytics on him look really good. The numbers I was looking at for him look pretty good. I haven't had a chance to do a pure film study on him, but we're going to get to that. Like, I only went 10 deep in this particular discussion, guys. I really was, the first part of the thing, we were just kind of talking crap to each other about Sauce Gardner and Stingley, just a little friendly competition, the way we saw these two guys, just kind of talking crap to one another about who we thought was the best. But, yeah, I mean, we're going to get deeper, Lit City. Like, it's going to be much deeper analysis in the corner position because we're going to definitely go top 20, 25 players when it's all said and done at that position. Hurts to win 21. What's good, buddy? He said, you think we have a chance at either? No, I really don't, man. I maybe the Eagles get real aggressive and move up the board, but maybe Stingley's injury and just how bad he's been the last 2 seasons slides him down the board. I still think even if he slides down the board, he's not sliding to 15. I highly doubt it. I mean, if he does, you run to the podium. Sauce Gardner, I think, is going in the top 10, man. I really hope he slides. I hope either one of those dudes slide. I really do. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I really don't. Philly said, I really like Stingley, to be honest. I can't wait to see him at the next level. Lit City said, tuned in while working. Appreciate you, Gate. Hey, no problem, man. Hey, guys, I'm going to eventually get this all set up for podcasting as well, and I'll download these talks so some of you guys that are at work where maybe it's a little conflictual to watch the video aspect of it. We'll try to get you guys the audio through a podcast platform. I am working on that, guys. I know you're like, hey, come on, man. Come on. You said that 2 weeks ago. Get this thing up and going. I got you guys. I'm going to get there. I promise you, I'll get it done. Dante said, do you think Howie's way of drafting and bringing in free agencies at the corner position hurts their growth? Going back to 2016, we took away with 2 corners, and then 2018, 2019, we brought in a lot of cornerbacks. You're talking about like because of the quantity instead of quality, and then when you got so many dudes that need to be developed, you're taking away from an individual development. I mean, that's certainly a way of looking at it. I can't say for sure though, guys. I can't say for sure. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's difficult to say for sure. I played safety and linebacker at Albany State University. Love me some defense. Hey, Lit City, that's awesome, dude. Look, let's get you on the channel sometime to talk, man. Let's get you on the channel, man. I got Caleb comes on, Jalen. Those are both former collegiate athletes. I'd love to get you on the channel one time to talk about technique, what you see from guys, our own guys in Philly, free agents across the league, some of these college prospects. Use your eyes, and I'd love to have you come on and contribute, man. Just hit me up. You can either hit me up in the comment sections, Lit City. You can hit me up on email, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, man. Just hit me up. I'd love to have you. I'd love to pick your mind a little bit. Eagle Cliff said apparently the Texans are going to be hiring their head coach by Monday, from what I'm hearing. Hopefully they take Gannon because I'm tired of playing 10 yards off and rarely blitzing. I'm sorry. I apologize, Eagles Cliff. You're certainly not the only person who's expressed that opinion. I just, you can tell sometimes where a comment's going. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like why I was laughing, because I knew exactly where you were going to go with it. It definitely stinks when we had those situations to where we were just giving up any out route, anything that was underneath, and not challenging guys. And then guys on top of it, we're playing this style of defense, and nobody's actually coming up and sticking anyone. So we're not shutting them down to 3 or 4 yard gains. They're getting 6 or 7 yards at will. So yeah, definitely. NFC East B says, well, you're going to overdraft positions. Let me make it clear. Quarterback, defensive end, tackle, and cornerback is where it happens. Yeah, Lit City, man. Like I said, I'd love to have you on, man. I'd love to pick your mind, talk a little bit about wide receivers and some corners. I played a little bit of corner and wide receiver when I was in school too, although I'm mostly known for quarterbacks. But, look, I started all the way back in like March of this past year. I started off with, actually in like December of 2020. I interviewed Jalen. From Jalen, I interviewed Max Brown. Then we had, Caleb on. I'd love to have you on too and talk, man. Absolutely. James Gatlin said, good morning, Coach. Your thoughts on Josh Jobe, Alabama corner? Haven't had a chance to really run film yet on Josh Jobe to give you like any true insight, James. I got 10 deep, so I'll name you the guys that like I broke down film on so far, and like where kind of like how I had them ranked, if you will. But Stingley, Roger McCreary, Kyer Elam, Andrew Booth Jr., Ahmad Garner, Martin Emerson. Sorry, guys, I got to flip through all these pages here. Trent McDuffie, Kyler Gordon, Jalen Petrie, and Marcus Jones were the 10 guys that like I truly ran at least 4 games on and have what I feel like is a decent perspective on what they are. The way I ranked them was I got a 1A, 1B. I got Ahmad Sauce Gardner as my 1A, Derek Stingley is my 1B. They're both phenomenal players. And then I got Roger McCreary, then Elam, then Booth Jr., then Emerson. I'm sorry, then McDuffie, then Emerson, then Gordon, then Jalen Petrie, and then Marcus Jones as my top 10. I will take a look, man, and I'll definitely let you know. I'll let you know what I think. Texas calling. I lost my phone in a boating accident. I don't know. See, that's the thing. Is like if Gannon's gone, I don't know what they're going to do here. I'll be honest with you. I really like Denard. I like our corner coach a lot. Denard's a really good coach, and man, he's been spoken highly of by the players. They love him. I don't know that he has any experience calling plays, though. I have no clue, guys. I have absolutely no idea what to make of that. I don't know his resume like that. With that said, I honestly think he's a good player, man. A good coach, not player. I think he's done a heck of a job, and it just shows, man, that these dudes love him, to be honest. To be fair, though, who knows, man? Like, I don't know who Nick Sirianni has has that clear, like, professional relationship with in terms of who's going to be out there kind of floating around in terms of the names of the defensive coordinators. Like, I mean, look, I like Wink Martindale. I like Brian Flores. You know, of course, there makes some sense to bring in a guy like Zimmer who runs the exact pretty similar scheme, not exact, but very similar to what we're doing. I mean, look, Vic Fangio is an absolute star. I mean, I love that dude's mind. He's one of the best. That dude is a very brilliant guy, but I don't know what the relationship is with those dudes. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. I just don't know, I don't know what the experience is with them. Bird Gang 114, what's up, buddy? He said, I wouldn't mind staying with Steven Nelson. Eagles Clip said, I would like us to hire the Baltimore defensive coordinator they fired. That's Wink Martindale. Coach, he said also Deion Kendricks from Georgia. Deion Kendricks. All right, let me write down some of the guys you guys want me to break down. So I got Josh Joby and then Keon. Sorry, guys. Deion. My bad, guys. Deion Kendricks, UGA. Gotcha. All right, guys. Yeah, I'll break them down and let you know what I think of those guys. Baltimore had all their players injured. It wasn't the defensive coordinator's fault. I'm not too sure what happened there. I'm not too sure why they went away from Wink Martin. I can't. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. It's my wife calling in. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they did that, but who knows? I would get Vic Fangio or Mike Zimmer for Baltimore's defensive coordinator that just got fired. I hear you guys. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here. I got to figure out why in the world my wife was calling. It's an hour and 36 minutes. If I have the time today, I will put out another video for you. We need to go over contracts. We need to go over a bunch of stuff here, guys. Don't forget, the books are available for purchase, guys. I linked them down inside of the actual description of the video. You'll see if you guys want that quarterback tracking journal. So if you guys want to track some of these prospects this year, I got the tracking journal up there. I will try to work with guys like Caleb and Jalen. I'll try to work with all of you guys that have experience, collegiately, like Lit City Lambeau and people like that, to put up other things like offensive line, defensive line, corners, and wide receivers, and come up with tracking journals with these guys. So that way everybody has an ability to do that. But the quarterback one is up and it's available. Links in the description. A few of you guys have already bought it. Thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all are great like that. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much, man. I'll see you guys later. Peace, guys. I'm out of here.